going to call everybody here. Are we live? No, we're not live. Okay, great. We're not live. Okay, problems. Yeah, not working. Am I live? Am I live? We're live? It's working? Oh, it's working! Oh, you guys, what a relief. So I've been sitting here and it's saying you can't go live and there's this big error message and I'm live. Oh, what a joy. I'm so glad. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. I'm so relieved that technology has worked in our favor today. Technology must be doing PowerSheets today. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for your patience as we tried to get things going here. I think we have so many excited women that Crowdcast said, whoa. So tell me, friends, how are you doing? How are you feeling about 2019? How are you feeling about 2019 goal setting? No wrong answers here. You guys are so awesome. You're in Indiana. You're a mom of 8. Dana, high fives. You make things happen, my friends. Hi, everybody. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about 2019 goal setting? I would love to hear. I know we have a lot of folks on here right now. Lots of folks. And that's exciting because every time one woman, and that means you, every time one woman chooses to cultivate what matters, it starts a ripple effect. That's why I do what I do, because you guys fire me up. And the idea of all of us choosing to cultivate what matters right where we are with what we have creates this ripple effect that can change generations. That's big. That's world changing. And it all starts with the tiny little steps and decisions that we make today. So you're feeling hopeful. You're feeling excited about 2019. Awesome. You said your daughter loves listening. That's awesome. Say hi to your daughter for me. That is so great. Okay, so Shelly, you said you're excited, but you haven't gotten to start yet. Hey, from Pittsburgh, so excited about 2019. This is great, guys. Okay, really, there are no wrong answers. I had written a post a couple days ago, and one of my friends commented, and she said, I'm actually really scared about setting goals for 2019. And this is just good. It's good to have all of the thoughts that you have currently to build a foundation for where we're going. And there's no wrong answers here. So yeah, Barbara, you said I'm a little overwhelmed. This is good. It's good. Okay, you said, Kim, you said you're watching from the hospital where your hubby is having surgery at this moment. I'm going to pray for him. That is amazing. I'm so glad you joined. I'm glad that we can keep you occupied and hopefully keep you from worrying about him. Hey, Jill, you guys, this is so exciting to see so many good friends here, so many longtime friends and new faces. So we're going to start with this question. How are you? This may seem like a benign, silly question, but if we don't know where we are right now, it's not going to help to propel us to where we want to be, right? Because if we're feeling shaky about things, how are we going to find clarity for the year ahead? So tell me, how are you feeling about 2019 goals? How are you feeling about the year ahead? Maybe you've had a really challenging year this year. Maybe it's been really hard for you. Maybe because of that, it's difficult to imagine anything in the future because you're still trying to deal with right now. For me, it's been a challenging year in a lot of ways, like so many of you. And so it can be difficult to even try to think ahead. But that's what we're going to break through today. No matter how you're feeling about this year, how this year went, we're going to look back at what happened, and then we're going to define some steps to move forward to what's next. This is great. And if you're just joining, hey, I forgot to introduce myself because of our technical difficulties. I am Lara. I am here in my office here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. We've been here in North Carolina for 10 years. I have an amazing husband, Ari, who raps. He raps. If you haven't seen his raps, go to my Instagram. That's not his profession, though. I have 3 amazing children. I'm so grateful to work alongside a team of 9 women each day with our business, Cultivate What Matters. We make the PowerSheets Intentional Goal Planner, which many of you have in your hands right now. There are 4 different covers of the PowerSheets, and give me a shout out. Tell me which one you've chosen this year or which one you are going to choose. Maybe you're getting a gift card for Christmas or Hanukkah or the holidays. Maybe you are waiting to get yours until payday, but These are the 4 choices this year. They're all the same inside. You just get to choose the cover that matches your personality. At the end of this broadcast, I'm excited because I'm going to have a special discount code just for you for PowerSheets accessories. Yes, I love all the comments. It's great. So I have some of my accessories right here. Truth be told, I had to steal this from Grace because I don't know where my zipper pouch is because we just moved a bunch of our office stuff somewhere else. So this is Grace's zipper pouch, but I have all of my stuff that I put inside just to show you guys as we learn today together how to set up your PowerSheets and how to get the most out of them, but not only them, how to get the most out of your year ahead. Because the PowerSheets aren't magical. They are a proven system that will help you if you're willing to put some muscle into it. And that's what we're going to do today. I'm excited. So I have a lot of our PowerSheets accessories, including some of the Wildcard pages, which we'll talk about in a minute. I've got my tending tape. I have my zipper pouch, and I have my sticker book. And I also have some things that if you haven't opened up your PowerSheets yet, you may want to know about these. These are some of the free bonuses that come with every set of PowerSheets. And you have 3 different cards that come with them. So let's just get to know our PowerSheets first. Number 1, you have this encouraging postcard right here that says, you know, all those things you've always wanted to do. You should go do them. And this is, you can keep this if you want. You can put this on your bulletin board, but really we made this so that you can encourage another woman because we want to pass it on. We want this ripple effect to continue so you can use this as a postcard. You'll also find inside this exclusive art print 2019. Let's do this. Another great thing to inspire you to get going on your goal setting this year. And then this one I'm really excited about because this is kind of a treat that you get as you go through the process of uncovering your goals, is your word of the year card for 2019. So once you have done that page where you uncover your word for 2019, we've got a great process for you on that page. You're going to get to be able to write your word down and then put it wherever you feel you're going to see it the most. So some people put that on their refrigerator. Some people put it on their computer desktop, in their car, on their bathroom mirror, wherever you want to see that the most to remind yourself of where you're going. A couple of housekeeping things. Number 1 is there is an ask a question box, and I will get to as many of these questions as I can. All the questions will be answered by someone on our team. There are no dumb questions when it comes to goal setting. There are no dumb questions when it comes to PowerSheets. We want you to get the most out of this year ahead, and we're here to help you, to guide you to do that. So if you have a question, pop that in the ask a question box because the comments tend to go really fast, and I'm going to stay focused on teaching you guys well, and then at the end we'll come back and ask a whole bunch of questions and get some answers. Okay, I am so excited for you guys. Number 1, you should know that this process, like I said, is not going to be magical. Here's what happens. When you came to the beginning of this calendar year, how did you feel? Maybe you set goals, maybe you set some resolutions. How did that feel at the beginning of 2018? Anybody remember? Maybe you felt hopeful. Maybe you felt like, oh, this is going to be a great year. Here I am on January 1st. I set some good goals. And then what happened? I would love to hear from you. And then what? Maybe you did make great progress. Maybe, and I've heard from so many women, this is like such a sweet gift we get at the end of a year, is that we hear from so many women that even if they didn't make perfect progress, they've made progress on goals using the PowerSheets. But maybe this is your first year using PowerSheets and you haven't had this system before. So what happened? I love this. Keep sharing. This is great. So Meredith, you said, oh, you felt overwhelmed, taking on way too much in January, and then you fizzled out. I love it. Okay, Kate, you said, I was lost, coming off of a rough year. PowerSheets changed my life. I'm doing so well now. That is awesome. You need some cowbells. Yes, I love that so much. Dana, you said, my best friend told me about your PowerSheets. Oh, the comments are going fast. And your book, and everything has changed. Everything. Man, you guys are so encouraging. This is great. So maybe you're sitting there and you're like, well, I really don't want to share my answer because it wasn't so good for me. I started the year and I had great intentions and great hopes. I set all my resolutions on January 1st, and then I fell off the bandwagon, or I flat out forgot about my goals. Let me tell you something that happens. And this might be the key that helps you to find success this year. So listen up, take notes. There is a lot of power in the handwritten word. So if you can, take actual notes, not just notes on your phone. I will talk about this in a little while, but handwriting has so much power to help our brains retain information. Speaking of our lovely brains inside these beautiful noggins, your brain, it latches on to habit, right? Your brain, it wants to do the same old thing it's always done. It likes staying nice and cozy. It likes to just curl up with a cup of tea. And that's a good thing because it's a protection mechanism that our brains have. Our brains, they seek out pattern and habit, right? So if you come along with this giant list of brand new ways that you're going to live your life, your big checklist of New Year's resolutions out of the blue. And like one of our dear friends just said right now, you have so many things going on your list, your brain gets completely overwhelmed and it shuts down. Have y'all felt that? Your brain just flat out shuts down because change is work. Change means that our brain has to be rewired. It feels hard. It physically feels tense, right? Okay, yes, I'm not the only one that's felt this way. So your brain, it seeks out pattern and habit. In order to change those patterns and habits, that means you're going to have to shake things up. That means that it is going to feel a bit uncomfortable at first as you start to set out on a new path. So number one, accept the fact that it's going to feel uncomfortable. And if it feels uncomfortable, you can say, you know what? I'm onto something. That is a good thing if it feels uncomfortable at first, because your brain is going to take some time to change. The other really good news is it's not going to be like that forever. The Power Sheets help you bridge the gap. That's what they're there for. This book right here, this workbook, is a guided workbook. It's going to help you to bridge the gap from where you are right now and where you want to be. It's going to get you through that uncomfortable period of change. And the good news is you're not going to feel that uncomfortableness forever. Think about something in your life that you're really good at. I mean, think about even something as simple as riding a bike. Was it uncomfortable for you at first? I'm seeing this in my daughter right now. It is super uncomfortable for her to get back up and practice and try again and try again. But do y'all know that feeling you have when you do something and your body just gets it? Like all of a sudden your brain just gets it. It's like freedom. It's like flying when you're on a bike. And that's what our brains are going to do with the Power Sheets. The Power Sheets are going to help to bridge the gap and get you to the point where it feels like flying in those goals. Yes, the uncomfortable part is the dirt where the seed will grow. Exactly. Okay, Karina, you said that is what happens to me when I am stressed about work. It's like white noise in my ears. Totally. Yeah, so this is really helpful to know, because if you don't know this and you start to feel uncomfortable, or you think, man, it's hard work for me to be able to get myself into a wellness routine, for instance, where I am consistently wanting to work out or making better health choices, whatever it is for you. If it feels uncomfortable at first, that's a good thing. And just know it's not going to feel like that forever. Your brain is going to, over time, get rewired through the Power Sheets process. And that's the beautiful part about it. So to summarize, our brains, they seek out pattern and habit. They like to be comfortable. They like routine. We are going to shake things up, because the alternative is to do the same old things you've always done. And on February 13th, statistically, most of the world falls off the bandwagon with their goals. You are not going to do that. I know that for sure because you're here. If you were not here at 3 o'clock or whatever time it is, I know we have a lot of international friends joining us right now too, which we're so grateful for. If you were not here, then I wouldn't know that you were super committed to this. And if you're watching the replay, same thing. I know you want this. And if you have Power Sheets, I know you want it. You have chosen a system that's going to work for you to bridge the gap. All right, so today what we're going to do is this. I'm going to share some of the very best high performance tips for people who hate goal setting. I'm going to give you all the best tips for people who really don't like this, which is me included. Traditional goal setting does not work for me. It never has. I would rather just have my brain sit on the couch and watch TV, but I'm going to share with you the secrets that I've learned to get yourself motivated about goals that matter, goals that last longer than you. And then we're going to walk step by step through the power sheets, and I'm going to give you some of my very best tips to set them up in a way that works for you, to customize your power sheets. At the very end, I've got a fun giveaway for you, and I have a discount code for you too on power sheets accessories. It is a great discount code, so stay tuned for that. If you have a question, remember, pop it in the Ask a Question box, and you guys can vote on what questions are going to get asked first. All right, and hello from the Netherlands. This is amazing. From Germany, you guys, so cool. Yes, and you will be getting an email right after this live workshop with a replay to this too. So you can go back step by step, take more notes, and finish this out. Hey, from Australia, y'all, totally amazing. All right, let's dig in. So how do we bridge the gap? How do we convince our brains to go through that uncomfortable period? Number one, we have to think big picture. You are going to experience the joy and the beauty of this in the power sheets. I'm actually doing my power sheets right now for Power Sheets Prep Week. And I am taking it slow and steady because we want to make sure that our goals take root over time instead of setting them on January 1st. And then the goals don't have deep roots, and then we fall off the bandwagon come February 13th, right? We're not doing that. You're not doing that. You are taking your time to dig in little by little. And I am too, right alongside you. I am actually on page 11 right now on my power sheets. And I'll share with you a lot more from my power sheets in a minute. But I'm on page 11, and I'm only 11 pages in, and I'm already getting a very clear picture for me of what that big picture is. If our goals don't have a big picture attached to them, we're not going to take action on them. Let me give you an example. Have you heard about SMART goals? Anyone? You've heard about SMART goals, right? SMART goals, it stands for specific, measurable, actionable, attainable, something like that. Y'all know better than me. And the reason I don't really know is because I know for a fact that SMART goals do not work without one key component. Yes. Okay, great. SMART goals don't work without heart. Yes. Okay, great. I think there's a little delay. So y'all are getting it. Awesome. You're on the same page. SMART goals, they don't work without heart. What does that mean? If I were to set a SMART goal to run a 5K, for instance, I could set all kinds of specific, measurable, realistic, attainable steps. But if that goal is not connected to where I want to be in the big picture when I'm 80, 90, 100 years old, then I'm not going to have any motivation to take action on that goal. You see what I'm saying? So SMART goals are one thing, SMART goals with heart. That's the way we do things with power sheets. You're going to uncover first your big picture vision. Where do you want to be in the big picture? What's going to matter to you when you're 80, 90, 100 years old? And then what's not going to matter to you? The power sheets help you bridge the gap. They help you to start acting like it today. So this is a few tips for you now on how to harness the power of that big picture. One is you have to give your brain a lot of advantages along this process with the power sheets. And what are brain advantages? It really just means the simple things like reminding yourself to do your power sheets because your brain is not trained to do it yet. I don't have to remind myself to do it anymore. I used to actually have to have that on my to-do list. I don't anymore because my brain has been trained. Month, I'm going to fill out my power sheets. I'm going to get the satisfaction of having a clear path ahead. But at first, you're going to have to remind yourself to do that. So tactically and practically speaking, use the power of your planner. I'm going to talk a lot next week in another live class about how to use your power sheets and your day planner together to plan your year and cultivate your calendar. So look forward to that and register for that next week. But for now, using the power of your day planner, very simply go ahead and mark out 12 goal planning dates for 2019. Once a month, a few days before the end of each month, go ahead and mark out 12 goal planning dates. These are little blocks of time that you are going to go ahead and set aside to set yourself up for success and do your power sheets pages for that month. The power sheets pages each month are super simple. I'll show you what they are. So you only have, if you flip over to one of your tabs, So you can see right here, I'm using the 1-year dated goal planner. And I'm just going to flip over to one of the monthly tabs here. We'll just go right on over to January. How about that? We'll just go over to January. So you can kind of get an overview here of what is included, what you're going to do each month. You start with a page about letting it go. You're laying a framework for where are you right now so that you can leap to what's next. Next, you're going to prepare well, very tactical, practical, what's on your calendar, what's coming up ahead, what are important to-dos that you already have on your plate so that you know not to overload yourself with more goals on top of that if you already have a lot going on. It helps to simplify your schedule. And then you're going to sort some goal ideas, things that you want to break down from your yearly goals onto this page right here. And start to prioritize those. And then the last page in your monthly pages is filling out your tending list. So the tending list is where you're going to break down your monthly, your weekly, and your daily action items. That's it. That's what you do each month. Now I'm going to tell you a secret. The secret is 18 minutes. Have you ever wondered why TED Talks are 18 minutes long? They're between 18 to 22 minutes, I think. There is a very specific reason. So there's something called, stay with me here, friends, cognitive backlog. Let's say that together. Cognitive backlog. There's a very strategic reason why TED Talks are the length that they are, because they have made them the perfect length for our brains to be able to attach onto new information. And that's the way that the PowerSheets process is designed too. So how many times, for instance, have you thought to yourself, you know what? I just want this to be easy. I don't want to have to think about my goals. I just want to wake up on the first of a month and just have them magically happen, right? We all want our magic wand. I'm going to take out my magic wands here. We all want this is my magic pen wands. My magic wand is just going to say, poof, you're ready for your goals for the month. If you were only to spend, say, 2 to 5 minutes a month on setting intentional goals and looking at what your priorities are for the month, you know what would happen? It would go in one ear and out the other. You would be doing yourself a disservice by only spending a few minutes a month on it. Your brain would not have enough information with which to grab onto and change. So there is a magic, a power in 18 minutes. And that is exactly the average amount of time it takes to do your monthly prep pages in the PowerSheets. How cool is that? Now, there's a flip side to this. If it took you an hour to do, what would happen? What would happen? Your brain would just turn off. You'd be like, okay, I've had enough. I'm going to start thinking about my to-do list now, right? It would be too much. And that's where the cognitive backlog happens. Is it could come to a point where it's just overload. It's just too much information, right? Yes, we can create our own magic using our brains. Loss of interest, right? Exactly. So now you guys know the secret. It's not rocket science, but it is brain science, and we get to use it to our advantage with the PowerSheets. So when you set those dates for your PowerSheets prep pages, those 12 dates throughout the month, 12 dates of 18 minutes long. Can we calculate that? I had to turn my phone off, but somebody tell me what 18 times 12 is. How many hours is that up to in an entire year? And how many hours are there in a year? Anybody know? I know, it's called the 18-minute magic. It's amazing. Somebody add that up for me. How many minutes does that add up to? You get the point though. Whatever the number is, it's not many. 216, awesome. All right, so what's 216 divided by 60? How many hours is that? Right, 3.6 hours a year. Bam, 3.6. I got to write that down really big because that blows me away. You know why that blows me away? Because in our brains, we think to ourselves, goal planning, it takes too long. Think of how much time this is going to give you back. 3.6 hours of your life, 3.6 hours. How many hours a year do you think you spend on social media? Gut check. 3.6 hours is all it's going to take. 18 minutes, that's it. For you to live intentionally, for you to commit to the things that matter, for you to end this coming year feeling on fire, knowing that even in the times that you messed up, which you're going to mess up, even the times that your progress wasn't perfect, which All progress is imperfect progress. You are going to end the year knowing you cultivated what matters little by little. 3.6 hours, the end. Yes, less than 4 hours in a whole year. Isn't that crazy? 4 hours out of 8,760 hours. Angela, thank you for being our math magician today. Yes, exactly, Valerie, or Netflix. Dana, y'all are so good at breaking it down. Dana said that's less than a minute a day. Word, I love that. We need some cowbells for that. Okay, and Jackie, great question. Was there a certain day you do your monthly goal prep on? I try to do it on whatever day feels convenient. Sometimes I do it at the end of the month, usually around like the 25th, so that I have enough time to really get it done. But really, whatever day is convenient for you. I do it like after the kids go to sleep, or I take like 5 minutes in between something to start. So you can kind of break it up into even smaller chunks along the way. Do whatever works for you. But if you're going to go ahead and plot it out so that you're not scheduling something else in there. Make it very realistic for whatever circumstances you have. Now, a note for us mamas, you can do your power sheets with your kids. I do it all the time. In fact, it's one of my favorite times is to do my power sheets with Grace. My daughter is 7, just turned 7. And I love inviting her into that. Last night, I even let Josh write on my power sheets as I was filling them out. So let your kids help you to make a mess. I look at these marks now and it's going to remind me of what matters most. So don't feel like you have to have quiet, perfect, unbridled time with nobody else around and the perfect pens and the perfect circumstances. Use what you have right where you are, and it's going to be so much more fun. Okay. Yes, Erin, you hit the nail on the head. You said, I need to schedule it because life. Yes. And you said, I'm setting mine for the 4th Wednesday of each month. That way, if I need to get things done before I get to the next month, I can do it to make my goals happen. I love that. Yeah, that's a good point. And I didn't even realize that I do that, but I do that since I do it a few days before the end of each month. It helps me to look at my current goals and then really but end that current month really well. So that is great. Love that. All right, so that is one of the brain tips is the power of 18 minutes. And guys, don't let this go in one ear and out the other. Don't do it. You better write that down. So maybe even, I'm going to put that down actually on my power sheets too, because I feel like that's super helpful for me. Right here on page 1, I'm going to write 3.6 hours. 3.6 hours of intentional, I'm putting intentional awesome. You can use whatever words you want. You can use my words if you want. But those 3.6 hours, those are life-giving hours. Hours you could have wasted in whatever. So there you go. Make sure you note that so that your brain remembers this is not going to take much time, but the time it does take is going to be really powerful. Okay, let's talk. We're going to get to the power sheets, and I'm going to go page by page with you, but these foundational points are so much more helpful. I've listened to thousands of women across the world over the last 10 years talk about what motivates them, what doesn't, and this is one of the things that I know for sure. There's power in handwriting. There's power in handwriting. Whether you use a purple pen, a pink pen, a highlighter, a number 2 pencil, there was a study done that showed that students who wrote their notes in a digital platform like an iPad or a computer versus students who took notes in pen and paper or ink and whatever, the students who used handwriting retained far more information and made more decisions about that information than those who took notes digitally. There is a time and a place for digital things. My calendar, for the most part, we use a paper planner for family things, but for my work calendar, that's digital because I don't need to think about that much. That thing can do the thinking for me. But when it comes to goals and retrain, remember this? We know this now. You, my friends, are my fellow neuroscience geeks now, because we know that there's power in our brains being retrained, and that starts with handwriting our goals. So lots of people always ask us, why don't y'all make a download of Power Sheets? That's why, because it wouldn't work. So yes, there is a great place for digital products. I use so many of them that are a huge help to me, things that I basically set it and forget it. right? Isn't that the Crock-Pot slogan, right? Something like that. You can do that, but PowerSheets, you don't want to set it and forget it. You want to use the power of handwriting. So write your goals down in your own messy handwriting. All right, moment of truth, people. Are you ready, friends? Because we're friends. I can ask you this question, and I will give you my honest answer too. How many times have you been afraid to not put down perfect answers? Or maybe you open your PowerSheets and you think, I am scared that I'm not going to choose the right goals. I'm scared that my handwriting is not going to be pretty enough. I'm scared that I'm going to mess them up. I am scared that I'm not going to be enough, that I'm going to set goals that I can't succeed in. I'm scared that I'm going to overwhelm myself. I mean, you guys, I could go on and on because I know these fears. I know this. Yes, absolutely. Literally every day, you said. Every single time, perfection abounds here. Yeah. And you know what? I want us to take the pressure off for a second, because that drive for excellence is a really good thing. We just have to harness it for the right ways, right? That drive for excellence and wanting to do things well, that is a really good thing. That means you're going to have that oomph and that power to really push through on some hard times when you feel like you've fallen off the bandwagon with your goals. You're going to get back up because you want it. You want to succeed with excellence. But let's not let that stand in the way of us conquering good things, right? We are not going to let the need for a perfect pen or the need for perfect handwriting or perfect circumstances or perfect goals hold us back this year. Am I right? I feel like I can hear you guys from here. I really do. I feel like I can hear like, yes, you're right. I am nodding my head. I am going to try to believe this alongside you, Lara, but this is hard, right? Exactly. So many of you are saying what's been on my mind too, that we get so stuck feeling like things have to be perfect and then we make nothing happen at all. We're not going to let that happen anymore. Okay, so here's how we push through that. You have to look at, is it worth it for you to push through and make a mess? Or would you just rather stay here and stay in your comfort zone? Which one are you choosing, friends? Would you rather just stay here and end this end of 2019 feeling like, oh, I just made the same things happen that I made happen in 2018? Or would you like to step forward and set forth on a new path? Maybe it's a subtle shift. And would you like to end the year having cultivated the things that really do matter to you, the things that last longer to you? I'm preaching this to myself because that's what I want. That's what I want. I will not let this lie of perfection hold me back from living my life, because it tries to. It really tries to. But that's why we're in this together. That's why we have the private PowerSheets Facebook group. If you are not a part of that PowerSheets Facebook group, please join that if you are into Facebook and you feel like you need community, or get together with a group locally where you are. We're going to pop into the comments a link to, we have a free groups guide. Did you guys know this? We have a free groups guide. There are PowerSheets groups all across the country, which makes me so excited. I really wish I could come to all of your PowerSheets groups. That would be the greatest thing of my life. Whenever somebody donates a plane to us, I will be there. I will be there at your groups to cheer you on and give you high fives. But yes, there you go. So it's bit.ly, bit.ly/PowerSheets group. You can get that free groups guide so that you can have some accountability and hopefully, Lord willing, making friendships with women who are going to say, hey, I see you trying to strive after perfection right now. I'm not going to let you do that because I love you too much. I'm here for you in that way too. I'm going to be here for you, Lord willing, all throughout the next year and hopefully forever, to be able to encourage you in the same direction, because we're not going to let perfection hold us back. Yes, Kaylee says, Sprout Shipping needs an airplane. Yes. Okay. And you said we just met in Dallas, Texas area, had a lovely lunch out as well. That is so awesome. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, I don't have any friends who do PowerSheets, I don't know anybody where I live, I'm going to be your coach right now and say, be the invitation. Sometimes all it takes is popping into the private PowerSheets Facebook group and saying, hey, and I've seen this happen recently. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. Any other Dayton, Ohio PowerSheets users here? Let's get together for coffee. Be the invitation. You might be the one that sparks a new friendship for a whole group of women that really need each other. So I hope I see some of that happening today in the PowerSheets Facebook group when we're done. Okay, great. Let's scoot on to, hold on one second. Let me make sure I got everything for you. Okay, great. How are you guys feeling? We feeling good? Awesome. Okay, great. Amia, you said you're hoping to host a group. Very nice. Yep, just pop into the private PowerSheets Facebook group. All you have to do is go to Facebook, search PowerSheets group. It's the group that has about 11,000 members. Request access. We are there all the time, every day. We will allow you to get into that group, and you will find all kinds of new goal-setting BFFs. But just pop over there and say, hey, I need goal-setting friends. And that might be someone else's answered prayer that you say that. Okay, let's see here. All right, let's just get into it. All right, if you have your PowerSheets, get those out. If you don't, you need to order them today because I want you to get them before they sell out. After this broadcast, hop on over to our shop, get your PowerSheets. If you're getting them for Christmas, a lot of people have said this. If you're getting them for Christmas or you're waiting on them to arrive in the mail, you just ordered. We have a lot of people that have ordered in the last week. You're in the right spot still. You're going to be so prepared when those puppies arrive in the mail. You're going to be ready to break them open and get started. So keep those ears open no matter where you are, whether you have PowerSheets yet or not. This is for you. I have a free 5-part video series. You should know about this. Free 5-part video series that is live now on the Cultivate blog. Part 5, I think, will go out tomorrow. And then we have a bonus part 6 that goes out next week too. But all you have to do is start at the Cultivate blog. We will put a link into the comments for part 1 of that video series. It's going to walk you. I'm not it, but I walk you literally page by page through your PowerSheets. I'm going to give you kind of a cliff note version of that now, but I made that for you so that you can take it page by page, bit by bit, and break your PowerSheets down. Something you should know is that it takes about, I'd say, an average of a week or 2, if you're really taking it slow, to get through what we call the PowerSheets prep work. Now, the PowerSheets prep work is the first section of the PowerSheets. Let me make sure you guys can see me here. This is live. This is a workshop for a reason. Here we go. We're going to work it. All right, so the first section of the PowerSheets is approximately about like 30 pages long, and there's a lot of inspiration pages in here too. So it's not 30 pages you're writing on necessarily, but this whole first section is called the PowerSheets prep work. Now, the PowerSheets are broken up into 3 easy steps. Number 1 is you're going to uncover your goals. And that's going to take sifting through a lot of distractions, your fears, looking at what didn't work in the last year and what did, what you're going to say no to, what you're going to say yes to in the year ahead. And all that does is it peels back the layers, helps you peel back the layers so that you can take a deep breath and finally see clearly. Anybody craving that right now? Maybe you're feeling like, y'all, there's so many Christmas gifts to wrap, or you're dealing with a lot of stress or holiday things or work things. Anybody feeling that right now? You feel like heavy. You're feeling the weight. Yes. Okay, I'm not alone. Feeling the weight of things. I hope so much that you enjoy this PowerSheets process as much as so many of us have this week, because little by little, you're going to let some of that stuff go. Because otherwise it just swims around in your head all day long, right? Have you ever gone to sleep and felt like you had the pig pen clouds swirling around your head? Y'all know what I'm talking about? That's what it feels like to have all that stuff. Yes, okay, I'm totally not alone. The PowerSheets are going to help you to get rid of that and just to make that cloud just dissipate and go away, because you're going to have a place for your thoughts to go from here to paper where you can do something about them. Otherwise, they just swim up there and they cloud up your thoughts and you feel overwhelmed. But y'all, I've been thinking so much about this in the last 48 hours. To name your fears is to destroy them. To name your fears is to destroy them. Why is that? Because you put them out in black and white. When you expose these fears that you have, or these thoughts, or these distractions, or these heavy things that you've been dealing with, when you just write them down very simply in black and white or pink and yellow or whatever it is, in your PowerSheets or even a journal or wherever it is, but when you write them down and you see them, you get to start to make decisions about those things. You get to say, oh, that's what I'm fearing? Well, that's not true. I am capable of doing that. You start to poke holes in things and see these fears for what they really are, and then you can do something with them. So it feels very freeing to do that work, and you're going to do that in the PowerSheets. Yes. Okay, great. I'm glad that was helpful. Awesome. So part 1 is you're going to uncover your goals. These pages are going to guide you through the process of uncovering the things that matter to you little by little. And we start very simply. We start by, number one step is writing your name. Name and today's date. So if you're wondering, how do I start my PowerSheets? It feels so overwhelming. It's not. Just open it up to page 5 and do that one step. If you have taken that step, tell me in the comments right now. If you've taken that step, tell me in the comments, leave me an emoji, whatever it is, and tell me how it felt to finally take that step, to break open your PowerSheets, write your name in them. How did it feel to take that step? I have to say, this seems so elementary, but when I was sitting here thinking, oh man, I'm going to write my name, I'm going to write my date in here, it felt like a commitment. I did feel a little bit of pressure. I felt like, man, I have no idea what I'm going to end up writing in these PowerSheets. I don't know what my 2019 goals are going to be. I still don't. But the moment I wrote that in, and I love you guys, the moment I wrote my name and the date in here, I felt settled. I just felt like, okay, it's on. I have broken the ice. And it is on. It kind of felt like the old school, like cracking a champagne bottle against the hull of a ship to cast it off. That's kind of how I felt. I felt like, all right, this signals my fresh start. This signals the beginning of a new adventure. And it's the same for you. And I love hearing all this. You guys are amazing. Jane, you said this process has been life-altering. You're on page 36 and you are just loving it. Just getting started and writing my name. And it really helped me to get ready, to really focus on getting things done. You guys, I might cry. This is so exciting. What a gift. I love hearing how awesome this has been for you. And again, it seems like such a simple thing. It is a simple thing to write your name here, but that's the power of words. It's on, people. It's on. So next up is you're going to find in your PowerSheets a page of stickers. I was just talking to a reporter yesterday, and she said, you know, it's so cool that the PowerSheets have stickers. That's so fun. And I said, yes, it's fun. And let me tell you, it's strategic too, because when you do what it says, when you mark what matters. So for me, on the page where I wrote my name, y'all, I'm telling you, there's a purpose behind everything in these PowerSheets. When I marked progress right here, that made me feel so excited about the fact that I did make progress. I celebrated what I wanted to see more of. And that is the strategy behind even these fun stickers, is that when you mark what matters, it helps your brain to latch onto them. So yes, they're pretty. Yes, they're fun. Yes, they're gold and all sorts of colorful, but a lot of them are very meaningful words, and they help you to mark what matters as you go through the PowerSheets. Yes, exactly. So, you know, I think maybe it's just me, but when I was little, I loved the Kuro stickers. My planner friends, you know what I'm talking about, right? The Hello Kitty store. That was my jam. I was all about it. And I think there's something innate in us that really loves celebrating life, that loves celebrating progress. That's what this is all about. So I know this is life altering. Totally agree. But yeah, this kind of harkens back for me to that. When you flip the page, you get to have a lot of fun, start to throw some spaghetti at the wall. This is my 2019 goal ideas page. Yes, you guys know it. Dude, Sanrio. Yes, the Hello Kitty store. I used to love the writing with the little dots. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Yes, good stuff. Okay, let's get back on track, people. We all need to go have coffee and just talk life and Hello Kitty. All right, so this is the 2019 goal ideas page. My encouragement for you is just go for it. Am I going to end up choosing these things as my goals? I don't know yet. And you know what? I don't feel the pressure to know, because I just put things out that have been on my mind as maybe ideas for 2019 goals so that they had a place. And then as I go through this process, I'm going to start uncovering, okay, what is my real priority for this year ahead? What really matters to me? And I may end up crossing some of these things off, or holding them for a future year, or crossing them off completely. Who knows? But 2019 goal ideas, I have everything on here from start a small business prayer group. That's something I really want to do. And I will say, when I say this, that I really want to do it, I'm also mindful that as I go through the PowerSheets process, I'm probably going to learn what my limits are. not probably, I am going to learn what my limits are. The PowerSheets help you sift through all the things to get to the things that matter most for your particular season, circumstances, and calendar requirements. So you don't overwhelm yourself. Maybe you want to do, but maybe it would stress you out if you added something else to your plate. So I have everything from start a small business prayer group to growing my faith to keeping my car clean. Anyone else feeling the keeping my car clean? I would like a life-giving writing experience for my family. There is a deeper meaning behind that one, but mostly the dried up bananas in the back. It's just no fun. All right, here we go. So moving over to the Getting to Know Me page. I just filled this one out last night, and it was so fun. Don't think too much about these answers. I have so many more tips for you in that free 5-part video series, but as far as setting this up, I encourage you to use whatever pen you want and then come back and decorate along the way. Maybe you're someone that likes to decorate as you go. Decorate meaning all I did was put a couple little hearts here to make it fun or add some stickers. But don't worry so much about what it looks like. In fact, don't worry at all about what it looks like. Just write out what's true for you. And then practically you can come back and start to mark the things that really stood out to you or maybe surprised you. And that helps to make it meaningful. Okay, yes, I'm not the only one. I was doing a live the other day, and one of you, my dear car clean friends, we need to start a new hashtag, the year of the clean car. You said that your car is the home of, it's like the chicken nugget depot. I totally get it. I totally get it. Okay, and if you have questions, please pop those into the Ask a Question box, and I can't wait to answer those for you shortly. All right, we're going to move through a little bit quicker now. So the next page is the Break Your Identity Box page. Now, this one is probably my favorite. I'm going to tell you a story. When I was in college, I was told that I was sensitive by a very well-meaning teacher. It wasn't a negative thing, but she said, and she was from Venezuela. She had this very thick accent that I probably can't replicate very well, but I remember it so clearly in my brain. She said, "You are a very sensitive kid." And what she meant was, you have great sensitivities. You should be careful to guard your heart. And I thought that meant that I was weak. I thought that meant that I was never going to do anything strong in my life, that I would never amount to anything. That's the story I started to tell myself. And I lived that story for so many years until I met a mentor of mine later on after I graduated from college who helped me to break that identity box and realize that, no, I am sensitive, and that is a gift. That is how I'm helping other women now to hopefully cultivate what matters. I hope that gift is being used here. And so I don't see that as a weakness now. I see that as a strength. And I broke the identity box of I will never amount to nothing and changed it to actually this is a gift. It's a blessing. I'm going to share with you what I wrote on my Breaking My Identity Box page because it's a little bit different and you can really do this any way you want. For me this time, I actually just went with what was true today, not like in a big picture sense, but I've been feeling a lot of fear about recording, and it's going to sound businessy, but it has to do with my identity. I have felt a lot of fear about recording the podcast. So I've been preparing to record a podcast. It's called Cultivate Your Life with Lara. And I'm actually recording tomorrow if my voice holds out. But I felt so much fear. And here's the things I wrote. I cannot do this podcast because, and this is where you really have to get honest. So one of my biggest tips for you in setting your PowerSheets up well is to dive in and be honest. I am making the personal sacrifice of sharing mine here with you as an example, but you don't have to share your PowerSheets with anybody. Nobody needs to see these but you. I encourage you to get as honest as you can in these. So I wrote, I cannot do this podcast because my weakness will be exposed. It will be imperfect and no one will listen. My thoughts are too messy. Other people do this better than me. Super struggle with that one. I am not a good speaker and people will judge me. Oh, anybody else feeling that? You're feeling like, yes, I am stuck in an identity box. I have unknowingly put myself there, or maybe someone along the way has said something to you and it just stuck. And I know a lot of you personally, I know that there have been some major struggles. And that's where we get to choose a new path. Y'all, the Lord is so good to allow us that freedom because we get to choose the truth. And I will just unpack this. I wrote Moses is my homeboy because he is. Moses felt ill-equipped. He felt like he wasn't the person for the job. and he felt like he couldn't do it. And it turns out he didn't need to because God was going to be his strength. And so I said, if I flip this around, it would allow the Lord to use me and hopefully help someone to know his power to change us. I would be free and I would trust in him over my own efforts. So y'all answer these things however you want, but just be truthful. Just be honest with it. Yes, y'all, so good. Kim, you said I was laid off in January for the 4th time in my life, which has really messed with my head this year. Ooh, and that is so good for you to vocalize this, because then you get this advantage of then flipping the script and saying, I am not my job. I am not my past failures. Failure is not final, and you get to flip the script. I'm so excited for you. Okay, you said I work in ministry, and you would think I wouldn't get stuck here, but it's hard. Thanks for your transparency. Oh, you're welcome, Kim. I'm so glad that was helpful. Kalia, hey, my friend. Amen. Exactly. We need to just vocalize whatever is true. Like, allow that like yucky version of the voice in our head to find itself on paper and expose it for what it is, and then flip the script. So I hope that page is as life-giving for you as it has been for me, and it will be if you are honest with that page. Where do you feel like you're not enough? Where do you feel like you've been held back? Okay, so good. I am so glad this is helpful. Awesome. We're going to move on. Okay, and then the rest of these pages are pretty self-explanatory in this section, but who I really am, again, just answer what's true for you. I just put, hey, my name is Lara, or mommy, or babe, depending on who is talking to me. I am and you think beyond a job title here, I am a purpose-filled woman of God. In the past, I'm just sharing my answers with you to hopefully kick them in gear for you too. In the past, I have worried, feared, felt weighed down, but now I am ready to fly for his glory. I value the life-giving word, connection with my kids. And then you write your story in just a few words. This is kind of where I've stopped for now, but plan when I can to pick back up tonight and do more progress. And again, my free 5-part video series, which we'll put the first video link in the comments right now again. I love these comments, you guys. That is the best. Your oldest calls you honey because that's what your husband calls you. That's awesome. I have so many more tips for you to help unpack each one of these pages, but I'm going to give you some very tactical things now too. So you move through, because really the hardest part is starting, right? Sometimes the hardest part is starting. So there's your tips on how to just get into this. And then you're going to move through the cultivated life evaluation. A tip for you here is that you get to make these categories whatever you want them to be. So for instance, one of them says spouse or significant other. And I wrote this on here for you, but maybe your significant other is your neighbor who's your best friend, or maybe your significant other is your best friend. It doesn't have to be someone you're engaged to or married to or whatever. You get to change these categories to fit your life. We encourage you to do that here on this page. Okay, we're on page 14 and 15 now. You guys are pros at this now. So page 15 is about letting go. Again, just be honest with this page, and you're going to find a lot of success in that. And then we get very close to the end of this prep work section here to the Meet Your Fears page. And I mentioned this earlier, but to name your fears is to destroy them, because when you expose them for what they are, you get to make decisions about them. So I'd love for us to stop and do a little workshopping right now. I would love to hear, what are your fears? What are your fears about 2019? What are your fears about setting goals? Maybe you're afraid that you're not going to follow through. Maybe you're afraid that this year has been so hard and next year is going to be a repeat. Maybe you're afraid of the unknown, that you have goals, but what's going to happen next year, you don't know. Maybe you have a fear of success, that what if you actually do these goals? What's that going to call you to do or change? So many times we actually have a fear of success, right? So good. Okay, so Jana, you said you have a fear of failing at your goals. Gina, you said following through. Ooh, such a good one, Jen. You said failing, being judged, making mistakes. Leanne, you said you're afraid of success. Yes. Wendy, of being stagnant. Renee, that I'll end up in December and not have achieved anything I wanted to. All right, guys, I'm going to give you a little tip. And I tested this out last night on my husband, and it worked. So he had to do something last night that he really didn't want to do. He had to pack something up. Doesn't like packing anything, whether it's a box or a lunch or a suitcase, whatever it is. For some reason, that causes him a lot of anxiety. And so last night I was thinking about how our brains, they latch onto stakes. So if our brains know that if we don't do this thing, here's what's going to happen. Here's the negative consequence. We're probably going to do something about that. So for instance, he didn't want to pack something last night. And I said, okay, I tried this little experiment just for you guys. I said, look, if you do go pack this thing, you're going to feel so much better. You're not going to feel anxiety. I was giving the negative consequence here. You're not going to feel the anxiety that you often do. You're going to feel so much more rested in the morning. He has a talk he was giving this morning. Your talk is probably going to go better because you weren't thinking about having to do that. It wasn't weighing you down. And you know what he said? He said, okay, I'll go pack. It's never happened, ever. So guys, let's use that to our advantage. Is sometimes when we actually allow ourselves to think about the worst case scenario outcome, it can help us to start to problem solve and either say, oh, wait a minute, that worst case scenario is not that bad, or, oh man, I really don't want to go there. Like that actually could happen. And so here's what I'm going to do about it today to affect change. And then think about the positive. If you were to step into these fears that you're talking about, do something about them. And I think one of you had said earlier, you said you're afraid of ending this year and feeling like you didn't make progress on the goals that matter. What if you did? What if you did? I want you to answer me now. How would that feel? How would it feel if you ended 2019 not having had a perfect year, because there is no such thing as a perfect year, but if you did make progress on the things that matter to you, how would that feel? Let's solidify in our brains some really positive outcomes that could happen so that it motivates us to get through the hard times. Because like we've talked about, our brain is gonna wanna seek comfort. January 2nd, your brain's gonna be like, okay, this is your brain over here. Okay, you need to go sit on the couch right now and just get cozy, get your tea. Don't do a whole lot today. And then the other side of you that already has defined these positive outcomes that could happen is going to say, of course, I'm going to get up and go do that thing because I'm after it. I'm on it. I want it. Even if I fall down flat on my face along the way, I'm totally going to do this. And you totally are. Okay, this is great. So you said it would feel, Stacy says alive. Tammy, you said empowering. Margot, you said energized. Dana, you said I would feel accomplished, motivated to do even more, so triumphant, relieved, empowered. You guys, okay, so now that you have defined how it could potentially feel if you were to just take little tiny steps forward on the things that matter to you, is it worth it to start now? Is it worth it? I'd love to hear. For me, yes, it is worth it to make hard decisions, to allow my brain the space to change over time, to get through some of those uncomfortable times using the PowerSheets. The PowerSheets are going to guide you through all of that uncomfortability. You're not going to feel alone. You're going to have a system. When you feel distracted, you're going to come back to your tending list and say, oh, no, wait, brain, we're not going back to the same place we were before. We actually have a different path, my friend. And you're going to love yourself enough to take that path little by little, step by step, even if you mess up along the way. So this is great. Yes, all the yeses. Does anyone actually check no? It's a good question, Elizabeth. So there's actually a little box right here that says, let me get this camera to focus. If I were to step into this, there we go. It says, is it worth it for me to step into my fears? Yes, or no, I'd rather stay stuck in my comfort zone. This is using the power of what we just talked about right now. So everything in the PowerSheets is for a reason. It seems like duh. Would anybody check no? But this is helping your brain to say, oh, no, wait, I don't want to stay stuck. I don't want to stay in my comfort zone. I'm going to keep moving forward. And that builds momentum for you to do the next part. This is great. All right. How are we feeling so far, guys? Feeling good? All right, good. We are almost at the end of our time here. We've got just a couple more things that I need to share with you. Let me make sure I've got all my notes up for you. What has been the most helpful thing for you so far in this broadcast? We're going to use the power of repetition too. That's something you'll notice in the PowerSheets, is that as you go through all of these prep pages here, you might start to notice some themes. So for me in 2016, actually it was 2017 as I was doing my PowerSheets, one of the themes for me that kept popping up was wanting to have a life-giving home space. felt like everything was kind of like not working. We still had kids that were destroying furniture, and we were all at this like little kid stage. It wasn't a life-giving space. And I felt like I was just about to start homeschooling. So all these things about home, about our family, they were themes as I started to do my power sheets. And we have a whole new section for you this year in the power sheets called the threads section. Threads are the little tiny things that you see as themes throughout your power sheets. And as you start to weave those together as you go through your power sheets, they add up to your 2019 goals. So for me, all of those little threads added up for me to a 2017 goal of to create a life-giving home was my goal. Create a life-giving home. And there's a great book by Sally Clarkson by the same name. So all of the things that you're seeing in your power sheets, using the power of repetition, that is going to help you to solidify what your 2019 goals are. Okay, good. Great, great, great. So using, yes, 18 minutes. That's been helpful. Great. So using the power of repetition, solidify for yourself right now, what is one of the things that has helped you the most during this broadcast? I would love to hear. 18-minute rule. Yes, a lot of you are saying 18-minute rule. I know, huge, right? Using a sticker, exactly, the intentional power of the stickers. Tell me any other things. Yes, be the invitation and perfection is a lie. Absolutely. Solidify these things, whether you're writing them here in the comments or you're writing them down on paper for yourself. Or, guys, I highly, highly recommend you take advantage of writing them in your actual power sheets. Like if you have your power sheets right now, write these tips in your actual power sheet so you don't close up a notebook somewhere and then they go nowhere. Be your own best advocate and write these little love notes to yourself in the margins of your power sheets. Even right now, as you start to say, plot out those 12 goal planning dates for the year, what I want you to do is write some love notes to yourself in the margins. Say, you know what? You can do this. I'm with you. You've got the power to do this, whatever it is that's going to help to motivate you. Just write a few things as you go through. And that's going to help you to move forward and have momentum. All right, this is so good. So many good answers over here. SMART goals don't work without heart. That's right. You have to have SMART plus heart and bring that together. And that's where really good things start to happen. The brain seeks comfort. Be honest. Awesome. Did we skip pages 18 through 35? No, we haven't. Not there yet. Almost there. But it's always good to stop in the middle and make sure that you've solidified some points before we move on. So pages 18 to 34. Skip over there now. 18 to 34. After the Meet Your Fears page, this is one of my favorite sections. I can't wait to get to this section. Is the good things that happened and the challenges. And I won't go into too much detail just for the sake of time right now, and because I've already created a very detailed video for you in that 5-part video series. And I guess if we can, someone from my team, can you pop in each link to the videos so y'all can bookmark these, maybe get a sticky note up on your computer, copy paste them. They're all listed on our blog. So if you follow the Cultivate blog, cultivatewhatmatters.com/blog, you will get them all. If you're on our newsletter list, you will get them all. And in fact, after this, if we could send out, we have an email that's going to go out. So team, on it. Send a link out to all these amazing women with the links to those videos. You're going to get a lot of details about each page to help you through them. But I want to give you some practical, tactical tips too. Now, something you're going to want to do is not forget the fact that you have stickers in the front of your power sheets. So something that I do is I have to use Post-its. I remind myself of things like that, like use your stickers because it makes it fun. It makes it meaningful. So grab a Post-it right now even. Right here, I have my new Cultivate What Matters Post-its. And I'm going to put on a Post-it. Use your stickers, Lara. Use your stickers. We moved the stickers to the front of the power sheets for a reason so that you would not forget them in the back. Use your stickers, Lara. And another hack is that if you had power sheets last year and you did not use all of your stickers, you haven't used them yet, first of all, there's still time to. But if you haven't used them yet, go ahead and cut them out and just stick them in with tending tape to your current power sheets. So use your stickers, Lara. And I'm going to put that note right in here so I do not forget to use those. Okay, something else you should know practically is that every 3 months there is a goal refresh. right here. Every 3 months, there are these seasonal tabs. This one says spring. And then I believe, is this the next one right here? Yep, summer. So every 3 months, you get an opportunity to do something that is gonna take the pressure off. How many times have you set goals on January 1st and then suddenly you felt all the pressure? Or maybe you didn't even set goals because you just felt like this is too much pressure. I don't want to commit to this. Anybody feel that way? You just feel like, whoa, this is too much for me. It's not realistic, first of all. It's just not the way that our brains were wired to set goals for an entire calendar year. Who made up that rule? Y'all, let's think about that for a minute. Why do we set goals for a whole year? Why in the world is that the magical time frame? First of all, it's not. Our brains actually can only focus on one intense project or goal for a period of 90 days at a time. It's a fact. It's a fact for all goal setting in all realms, is that 90 days is that sweet spot that we can really focus on something. Now, it's not to say that you cannot have a goal that carries you throughout the year, but the way you do that goal throughout the year is probably going to grow and change as you do. So that's why we very intentionally have what's called a goal refresh every few months in the PowerSheets, every 3 months. So for instance, the spring refresh looks like this. We also have some very fun seasonal worksheets. So in the spring, here is a great season to clear the clutter and get rid of things mentally, physically, emotionally too. So we have the clear the clutter checklist as part of that spring refresh. And then you get a chance to do the cultivated life evaluation again, just to do a little check-in on 8 areas of your life, 8 key areas, to just see, like, how am I doing in this? Are my goals balanced across the board? So that's that. And then you get a chance to rewrite your goals for the next quarter. So you might just carry on the same goal. Maybe the way you do it is going to be different, or you might actually refresh your goals completely. I'll show you. Oh, no, I won't, because I left it downstairs. My current PowerSheets, as I have gone through all of the goal refreshes every few months, I definitely have refreshed my goals. And that's been so life-giving because our goals grow and change as we do. Imagine it. If you were to go through, say, 2 literal seasons of spring in a row, how would that feel? If spring lasted for 2 seasons instead of 1, we would probably start to take advantage, or not take advantage, but we would start to take for granted that forward motion. And our bodies would start to crave the richness of summer. If you went through 2 winters in a row, now some of y'all do. To be real, some of y'all do. Some of y'all do that. But the point is that we were created for seasons. We were created for short bursts of activity instead of long periods where we get overwhelmed and then we burn out. Okay, and then at the very end of the PowerSheets prep work section, hold on, I'm going to skip over here. You have a declaration page. And again, all the details on how to get through each one of these pages are in that free 5-part video series that I'm so excited for you to do. The next section of your PowerSheets is full of goal action plans. This is the new threads section. I'm on page 35 if you're following along. Page 35 is where you start to look for those threads. You go back through everything you've written in your PowerSheets all the way up to page 35. And you start to use your sticker book and start to mark those things out, a sticker book or a highlighter, pens, whatever it is. And by the way, there is a 15% off PowerSheets accessories code with Prep Week Fun. So get your sticker book and all your accessories, including your zipper pouch, sticky notes, all the good stuff, for 15% off using that code. And I think it's only good until the end of this week. I could be wrong. But that section is where you start to go back and mark the things that stood out to you. And then your 2019 goals will start to illuminate themselves. It's kind of like you go through this process of uncovering all the layers. And then when you get to the end of it, you're like, well, of course, those are my 2019 goals. So it becomes very clear in the end and so satisfying when you get there. All right, and then after you do that, there's a section for action plans. Right here, action plans. This is super simple. You're going to write in the goal, why that goal is important to you, and then you're going to start to break it down. We have a whole week of teaching coming up for you on how to break down your goals. And just as a reminder, I think it's Thursday, next Wednesday. Somebody tell me in the comments, because I don't know. I take this day by day. We have a whole new live class for you where I'm going to teach you the Cultivated calendar curriculum. I've done this teaching twice before, and it has been the best. My favorite practical teaching on how to plan your year, how to take what you do in your PowerSheets and use your planner, day planner, digital system, whatever it is, to plan out what matters most. I've done this teaching now almost a year and a half through, and it has been so life-changing. So be sure to register for that. We'll pop a link in the comments for you to do that too. And if you're on our newsletter list, you'll know all about it. All right, so after this section, and I'm just breezing through for you to get to know your PowerSheets. Again, there's much more teaching on how to go through every single page in that free 5-part video series. The next thing you need to know about is your monthly pages. Your monthly pages. So each monthly page has a very easy tab, these indestructible, awesome tabs. And we went through these pages earlier. The page where you're going to let it go, the power of 18 minutes starts to kick in right here. Every month you get to go through your PowerSheets monthly pages to set yourself up for success for the new month ahead. At the end of that month, there is a page where you have a month in review. So this month in review is actually one of my favorite things in the PowerSheets, because how many times, I'd love to hear from you, how many times have you ended a month and you thought, man, that was a bad month? Maybe a lot of hard things happened or challenges happened. And it's just like when you have a challenging day or several challenging circumstances in a day and you think that was a bad day. This is going to help you flip the script. You start to name people you're grateful for, memories that you had that month, things you're grateful for, good lessons you learned, progress you're celebrating. And then I love this box. I'm choosing grace over guilt about, and you fill in the blank. This helps to kick your brain into the positive gear of, oh, actually, there were a few good things happened. And now I feel the momentum to move forward to the new month, even if there were challenges in the mix. So that's been one of my favorite pages. Those of you that have been PowerSheets users for a long time, I would love to hear from you. How has that page been for you? The Cultivate Gratitude page in the current PowerSheets. I'd love to hear. And then at the end, these are brand new prompts we've put into the 2019 PowerSheets. I love these at the bottom. What you're saying yes to in the month ahead, what you're saying no to in the month ahead. Man, that just helps me to make some decisions as I move into a new month. It is so fruitful. So that is just a brief overview of getting to know your PowerSheets. We talked about how there are 3 sections. One is uncovering your goals using the PowerSheets prep work. And that is about 33-ish pages. Takes about a week or 2 weeks if you're going through it slowly to really get through it. And we have a great breakdown for you. If you want to split that up like we're doing now during PowerSheets prep week, but by doing it in just small little chunks, little doable chunks, you can do that alongside us. We'll put a link into the comments on how to do that. Just go over to the Cultivate blog. We've got a great breakdown for you there. And the next section is your goal action plan pages and the threads. That's where you start to really solidify, okay, I know what it is that I want. How am I going to get there? And what are my very simple starting steps to get there? And then you move into your monthly pages, and that's where you start to live it out. Monthly pages, living that out day by day, tending to those goals little by little. And in between that, every 90 days, again, using the power of 90 days, you're going to have a goal refresh. That's going to take the pressure off. It's going to allow you to do a little check-in and say, hey, do these goals still matter to me? Am I doing the right things for this season of my life? You get to do a little check-in, refresh your goals if you want to. And just remember, you have an entire page of stickers if you want more stickers though, and if you want our color coding system, which I highly recommend, you're going to want to get the goal setting sticker book. And I'm going to show you the color coding dots in the goal setting sticker book. I use these in my current PowerSheets. And what you do is you assign each of your big picture goals a color using one of these flags. We have all the colors this year. I love these so much. And then as you do your tending list and you mark out your monthly, your weekly, and your daily action items, you get to assign those a color that matches that big picture goal. So for instance, say my big picture goal is to cultivate a life-giving home, and I've assigned that goal hot pink. Maybe one of my monthly action steps is to clear out the reading nook so that Grace can have a place to read. That I would also put a little hot pink dot there because it reminds me of the big picture goal. So there's a lot of purpose and a lot of strategy behind this color coding system. Whether you're a visual person or not, this is going to help to remind you of the big picture. Otherwise, it's just goals. It's just SMART goals, and not SMART goals plus heart that combined together make really powerful goals that stick. All right, I know we're a little bit over time. I'm going to answer a few of these questions for you now. Thank you guys so much for these great questions. How's everybody feeling? Awesome. I'm so glad this has been so helpful. Okay. The first number one question is from Jana. Hello. Oops, somebody just wrote done answering. Hold on. I want to answer that. There we go. All right, I'm stuck on the first few pages because I don't even know what I enjoy anymore. I've spent so long just doing what I have or need to do that I've really lost myself in the process. I don't even know what I want at this point. It's a weird place in which to find myself these days. I love this. And Kara, you said, yes, I relate to this too. And I think a connected fear I have is that my goals will become selfish. Thoughts on how to get out of this should mindset and discern the things that really I should be doing, even if they aren't super fun, like writing my dissertation. This is so good. I love this question, and I hope that this answer is going to help you. One is you're right where you need to be. You're right where you need to be. First of all, the honesty that you have in sharing your heart, and obviously a lot of people agree with you on this question. You're not the only one. Your honesty in this is the foundation that is going to help you to move forward. What I would suggest for you is just write what's true for you. You can even write in some of these boxes, I don't know, or I think my favorite color is blue, or I think this is what I want. Just write whatever is true for you. It doesn't have to be perfect. So many times I feel this way. I feel the pressure to have perfect answers. I feel like I have to have it all figured out, or feel like I have to have perfect clarity, or I think that I have to feel something alongside it. Look, our feelings are good. Let me just say that. Feelings are good. They're good, but we are not our feelings. Sometimes when we've had, and I've had this happen, really challenging seasons in life, it can be really hard to feel excited about what's ahead. Are y'all feeling this? Here I am asking if you're feeling this. But really, do you feel that way? Have you experienced that before? Sometimes we have to fight for ourselves and allow ourselves to just write out what's true and just let the feelings be. So when I was experiencing a really difficult season in the early stages of my life, it was during college, I had a mentor of mine tell me, feel the fear and do it anyway. That's from a book by Susan Jeffers. Feel the fear and do it anyway. But it's not just like feel the fear and do it anyway, jump out of a skydiving plane, right? That's not what that means. It means you first have to feel. First, you got to let yourself feel. And you're already doing that. That's why I love this question, because you're being honest. So I hope that is helpful for you. And man, so many of you feel this way too. Yes. I would encourage you to answer whatever is true for you right now. And let it be. Just let the dirt be dirt. Let it be messy. Let it be whatever it needs to be. And if you need more room to write, if you feel like there's so many thoughts that are clogging up your mind, get yourself a piece of scrap paper or a giant Post-it note, or use one of the backs of these pages that doesn't have anything written on it. Like when you go over to your monthly tending pages, there are some pages that are marked for wildcards. So you've got this page for wildcards. You can use that to do what's called a download. That means just to download all the thoughts you have about the frustrations about this year, or the frustrations about feeling like you've lost yourself, and put that all there where it needs to be, in a safe place. I hope that helps, and I am cheering you on. I'm excited for you to dig through this. Okay, next question is, I am having trouble breaking the goals down to the steps to activate a plan. Can you help me with the breakdown stage? Yes, we have so much more teaching that's going to come on this, but I want to go to those pages. If you go over to the action plan pages, so hopping over to the action plan pages, there's a tab that says goals. If you go into that tab, you will see the action plan pages that she's talking about. So here we go. So right here is one of the action plan spreads. So you write out your goal, you write out your why, and then you start to break some thoughts down. There are questions like, what is the positive effect? We talked about this together, right, friends? The positive effect that taking action on this goal may have on me and others, how I will feel at the end of the year having made progress on this goal. We're using that power of positive affirmation. At the end of this year or season, here is how I'm going to celebrate progress. So we give ourselves a perceived reward at the end. And then you do what's called breaking it down. I'm going to give you my best tip on this. I think one of the biggest pitfalls we as women, and not just women, everybody, but in particular, for some reason, we as women who are very capable people who, if you didn't know this already, there have been brain scans done of moms and brain scans done of like just gents who don't have kids, like single people. And the difference between the brain scans was staggering in certain circumstances. It showed that, and it's not just for moms, it could be probably for anybody who does a lot of multitasking. For some reason, our brains are wired a little bit differently to be able to do a whole lot more things at once. That can be to our detriment too. Am I right? Because we take on too much. And how does this pertain to breaking down your goals? It's because so many times one of the biggest pitfalls I see is that we break things down into too big pieces. Instead of breaking down all the little puzzle pieces, we kind of like crack that puzzle in half and we try to bite off more than we can chew. Y'all feel this? So for instance, very practically speaking, say you have a wellness goal of wanting to run a 5K like we talked about. One of your break it down steps might be maybe you put down exercise 3 times a week or run 3 times a week. That sounds right? That sounds like, okay, that's breaking it down, that's small. No, it needs to be so small, so elementary that you can't help but take action on that goal. So let me tell you what a break it down step really is. The real first step is put on your running shoes. Put on your running shoes. That is so small, so elementary, that if you were to take that step, that's going to lead you to the next step and lead you to the next step and to the next one. So as you're filling out this break it down page, my real suggestion for you is to make the steps so small that they feel so elementary that you're like, well, of course I'm going to take action on these because they're so little. So I think the real answer is that we bite off more than we can chew. I hope that's helpful. Is that helpful? Donna, if you're still with us on right now, is that helpful? I hope that's helpful. Okay, good. Helpful for everybody else. That's awesome. Great. Awesome. Okay, over the years, PowerSheets have helped me. This is from Catherine. Hi, Catherine. You said, over the years, PowerSheets have helped me set big vision for my life with big picture goals, but I have a harder time setting and executing smaller steps. Any thoughts on breaking down big goals related to marriage, work, spiritual life into smaller steps? Yes, it's just what we talked about. Same thing is that when you look at those goals, they can feel so big. Right? I mean, they are like strengthening a marriage or growing, for me, growing the faith of my children, like whatever it is, there are huge, huge goals that we have, but every good thing starts with tiny steps. It's just like the analogy of a seed. A giant oak tree, huge. There's a huge oak tree called the angel oak tree in South Carolina. Have any of you been there before? The angel oak tree in South Carolina, I think it's about 150 feet from one wing to the next, if you will. But that angel oak tree, did it start as a giant oak tree? No, it started as a tiny little acorn, like about this big, tiny little acorn, one little seed planted in the ground. So my suggestion for you is to start small. And this is where a cultivated mindset has to start to sink in. This is where it's so important for you to, and this is where, I'm just going to say it. It's important for you to be on our newsletter list. It's important for you to be reading our teachings, not just you, Catherine, but anybody, because this is a completely different way of thinking. We do things differently. We don't just say, hey, go after your dreams and take that giant leap of faith and you'll be there. No, we know the truth. The truth is the things that we teach every day, we hope that women are grasping onto, we see them grasping onto, you grasping onto, is that over time, little by little, those steps are going to add up. I hope that encourages you because it truly is a different way of thinking. And when you feel frustrated that your progress isn't happening fast enough or that you don't know what step to take, again, make it so small that you cannot help but take action on it. And this is where a leap of faith has to take place. There's just no way around it. A leap of faith has to take place when you are sitting in one spot. And Catherine, I'll just hypothetically use your example. When you're sitting in one spot where you think, man, like I really want my spiritual life to change. I want my relationship with God to grow. And I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, whatever it is for you. But I feel so far away from that right now. Anybody feel that way? You feel so far away from where you actually want to be, right? So bridging that gap takes a leap of faith. It takes believing in what you can't yet see. And that takes one step forward to the next step, to the next step. And soon enough, that gap here, I'm going to use my markers, the place where you are and the place where you want to be starts to close. But it does take a leap of faith to say, you know what, it's going to be worth it for me to just try my best to believe that that thing actually could change and to take those faithful steps forward little by little, plant those acorns along the way because it's going to be worth it. Because in the big picture, that's going to be worth it. I'm obviously very passionate about that, Catherine. I'm excited for you and I hope that that helps. All right, last question here. I find I'm not good at celebrating my progress, Beth says. Hi, Beth. Because I always expect more of myself. Any tips for doing this to stay motivated? Yes. So we know now, y'all know, my, again, neuroscience geek friends, that our brains, they like comfort. They seek habit. They also seek reward. So celebrating progress is something that I think we might have done when we were little, like maybe our parents made a star chart for us or something, but you really have to think of what's really going to motivate you. For me, what motivates me is thinking about the positive outcomes that could happen. So if you want to get motivated, sometimes it's a matter of just going back, reading through your power sheets and remembering the why. Because again, we're retraining our brains. You're going to forget it. And that's why this monthly practice, this daily practice of tending to your goals is so important and why we don't do a set it and forget it type of approach. We do an all year long goal setting approach, not just on January 1. Don't just set goals on January 1. We're going to set them all year long and continue to celebrate and adjust them. So how do you learn to celebrate your progress? You're going to have to do things a little bit differently, maybe. And Beth, you do whatever works for you. But tips on staying motivated, number one, is always coming back to the big picture. I always ask myself, where do you want to be when you're 80 years old? What's going to matter to you then? And what's not going to matter to you then? That helps me to start acting like it today. It helps me to remember why I chose those goals in the first place. It helps my brain to start to latch on to some really positive outcomes in the future. Number two, use your stickers. They really are fun. Use your stickers. It may seem so mundane, but once you get in the practice of using those stickers, you might be surprised. And then in your action plan pages, there is a section for you to fill out at the end of this year or season. Here's how I will celebrate making progress. And it says season for a reason. So go ahead and preemptively put some rewards on your calendar. Maybe it's every 3 months, right around the time you do that goal refresh, put something on your calendar. It doesn't even have to cost much money. Maybe it's something like, I'm going to treat myself to a nice cup of coffee, or I'm going to treat myself to 5 minutes with a cup of tea and a candle and my favorite song. And you'll have that to look forward to, whatever it is for you. Maybe it's something more outlandish or extravagant, but I really don't think it takes a whole lot more than reminding ourselves why we're doing it in the first place. And that'll keep you motivated all year long. So I love that question, Beth. Okay, we are over our time because this was a lot of fun. And I'm so grateful for you guys and all of your passion and enthusiasm. And I just can't wait to do this year with you. We will be answering each one of these questions in the comments. Someone from my team will pop in and you will get an answer. But I am really excited for what's next. Where do you start? I've given you so much information today. Where do you start? What's the first action step? I'm going to give you some choices. Number one is, if you don't have your power sheets yet, get your power sheets. Get yourself set up for your best year yet. You're going to need a tool. People who make progress on goals, they consistently use a system that is an all year long system. And the power sheets are that system. It's about grace-fueled goal planning, so that you're not doing life by accident too. So number one, get your power sheets if you don't have them already. If you do have your power sheets, just take the first step. Take the first step to write your name in page 1 like we talked about, and then go over and watch the first videos in the free 5-part video series. Those videos are short. You can break it up, make it a movie night for yourself, grab some popcorn and your power sheets. We should totally do that. Popcorn and power sheets night? Yes. And first of all, start by writing your name in here. The other step that I want you to take to solidify what you've done here, because you invested time in being here, and that's a big deal. Your time is the currency with which you use to invest in the things that matter. And so in using your time here, I want you to get the most out of it. I want you to solidify the things that you learn here by, and I'm going to give you some incentive because again, we like rewards. I'm going to give away something fun from the Cultivate shop if you go over to my most recent Instagram post and leave your biggest takeaway there. This is twofold. I want you to leave it there because I want you to solidify it. You are going to be entered to win some fun stuff from the Cultivate shop. And then I also want you to leave a comment there to encourage other women to know these tips. And so that they are encouraged to then watch this free teaching and hopefully get the most out of their PowerSheets and the most out of their year ahead too. So after this, hop on over to my Instagram. We'll put the link in there. It's instagram.com/LaraCasey. Just leave a comment on my most recent Instagram post with your favorite takeaway. You will get 15% off. I think the code is right there. PowerSheets accessories, including the sticker book and all the goodies, using the code PrepWeekFun. That's just for you. And there will be a replay available of this. We're going to send an email out after this with all the links to all the things that we just talked about. Great. There you go. There's a link to the blog post. We'll pop in a link to my Instagram too, so you can go over there. And guys, I'm just thrilled for you. First of all, thank you so much for joining for this 90-minute time of learning to get the most out of our PowerSheets. And remember to mark your calendar too. I'm giving you lots of things to do. You can do whatever you want. But we will send you a reminder about this, that I'm going to be doing a live workshop. I love teaching this on how to cultivate your calendar. I'm so excited. All right, friends. Thank you so much. I love you so much. And I'm so pumped for the year ahead with you. You're going to be great. Bye, friends.